Was yeah, it was. KP was the
That's right.
Oh,
Commissioner or whatever.
commissioner,
He'd been
yeah.
out there stuffing them all morning.
mate, he loves
I'm
box.
just testing
he was
it.
so horny for it.
He loves it.
Fuck, it was good. Who'll forget, like, I think it was Miguel Pupo, was it? You know, just parachuting over the falls. The Brazilians, which, like, De Souza was pretty much...
Medina wanted to go home back on the... I remember that his feeling for surfing the box wasn't frothing.
It was either the box or the sharks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like probably the sharks because it was all kind of around that same time. There was a bit of stuff going on, and yeah, obviously the box is just sticking way out there, and that was kind of where we were sent, and it was like one of the biggest swells that had come through, and it was just about almost maxing out.
Yeah.
Like-
Because that thing you get is, like, almost bigger than any wave I've seen really break there.
I had never surfed it. It was
Wow.
yeah,
Really?
that was my first session.
What?
And I just went out there and I was pretty ready for it. Hey, like I loved the look of it. I was frothing and you know, I grew up on a lot of slabs just like that. And yeah, I just put myself in the spot and some at the start, and then this one came through, and I swear to God, it just looked like the whole like Margaret's to box was just coming out of the ocean, and I was with Dusty actually, and he started paddling out, and I started paddling in, and purely because I didn't even look at it long enough. I just seen the size of it and just swung and just started paddling in to try and get under it, and that was it, and that's all I did. I felt like I just held on after that.
I mean, it's such a crazy ride. Like
Here's your guts. My guts just dropped. Hey?
Oh. It goes so
Heavily.
square through that end section, and then the lip like kind of nicks you in the head at the end. But I mean, even that would have knocked most people off. But yeah, it's just an incredible wave.
I didn't even realise how big it was until like watching it back. Like obviously when I took off, it started to dawn on me the size of the wave.
Really? And are you thinking as you know, when you've underestimated the size and like magnitude of a wave, how do you stop that thought from, you know, making you glitch out and pull back or hesitate?
Well, it was as I was coming out that I realised that I was almost out of the barrel, but it was so round that I just hadn't came out just yet, and I still had this like step to drop down and get out past it. Like I said, that just hit me in the head a little bit. But yeah, that was it for me. It was definitely one of the better waves of my life. Like I don't have any shame saying that. Like it was definitely got my heart race going.
The coolest thing was the anticipation leading into that day was huge. Everyone was going box could be on box. And to see what went down, Smithy, was just like, that's what one of those magic days where pro surfing just lives, you know, right up to the very best that it can be, because you've got guys who you would expect to go hard, just pulling back. You've got surprise packages, just, you know, like Italo did, I think, last year.
Yeah.
You know, out of nowhere, here's this guy. You kind of almost start to write off backhanders, barring yourself. I mean, I know you've got, like, do you ever go right on what's the little boxy like wave on the other side of Voodoo there?
Yeah, the ride off Voodoo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty
sick.
boxy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's pretty similar. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
so-
not long, but yeah.
It's just the stories that come out of a day like that, Smithy, when you're a pro surfing fan, are just endless. Every heat is just one after the other, just non-stop entertainment, and you know, just waiting for that big set to turn up, and who's going to turn and spin is that's when it's on.
Well, if you look into
That's
that
the
too,
spectacle.
if you look at that too, it was right on the top of the tide. So, and the box, like all morning, had just been pretty deadly. Like, wasn't like a lot of wash throughs, a lot of closeouts. There was a lot of carnage, and right at the top of the tide, that big set like just held enough and held open, and like
Wow, cosmic. I love that KP was like sending you out there. It's like kind of prolonged grommet abuse. As soon as he's off tour, he's like, oh yeah, it's contestable. Get out there, boys.
yeah, it was dry.
Fucking
It was,
wash throughs.
yeah, it was dry in the morning.
And people, I don't know if you haven't surfed. I've surfed it once. I caught one wave out there, nearly broke my arm. The end section is fucking so dry. Like, I mean, it lets you in kind of. It's like a kind of regulation enough takeoff, but you can't fall off.
Yeah, I want to give a little shout out because, like you said, I was never sure what the limit on size at the box was, but I remember being a grommet, going to Preveley Beach Caravan Park, whatever, and behind the general store wall, they had a photo of Andrew Sheridan. biggest pit. And I think it was out there. I could be wrong, but I hope it was out there because it was just massive. And I met him in the pub only like a few days later, and I was just had to buy him a beer. I just went, fuck, mate, I've never seen anything like that. And that was kind of pre-slab days, you know, when I guess only a handful of crew were really properly hunting out those sorts of swells on those sorts of reefs.
Yeah, well, it's got a fascinating history, the box. I think it was Andrew Sheridan. He took, maybe it was Rusty Moran and
Bergs?
Love Hodel, maybe.
Oh,
it was like maybe the kind of
yeah.
first. They were the first outsiders to surf it, and I'm pretty sure Rusty Moran pin dropped out of the lip and dislocated his shoulder on his first wave out there, and then went back to Cronulla to recoup and had another crack at it a year later, I think. But and that day that you got the bomb, I thought I watched Adam Melling die on that day. That was
He
heavy.
got so smashed. He got the chest to the lip. And he like fell
Oh,
like
I remember
way,
that.
and
That
it,
was
like,
heavy.
That was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Big.
What's the
big
mood like? See, this is one of the things we don't get to see, and I guess it's like one of the bummers about not being a team sport in a way. But you know, after a particularly heavy game of footy where it's a classic, both teams have come off knowing it's a classic. There's winners and losers. Is there any banter sort of back in the competitors area where everyone's looking at each other and just going, "Fuck, mate," and just fully breaking it down, telling each other what's up, or is it you just sort of quiet in there? Because I would imagine that on a day like that where everyone's frothing, you couldn't button your lip.
To be honest, that day people had a gutful. There was wipeouts, there was wash-throughs. It looked like an absolute goofy foot's nightmare.
They were burning effigies of KP in the Margaret River car park.
They were literally KP's name was like, just send us down the box. Like just not. It wasn't going great. And then that heat it just like this light bulb came on and come back, and Kelly was like, "Oh, that was a good one," and like, I was sleeping a bit better, but there was there was definite grumblings before
when the
happening.
goat's giving you a compliment, you know you've done something very special. It's rare.
Oh yeah.
He probably looked at it and said, "Oh, it's a good way," but he could have been deeper.